I've been putting on dinners since 2007 and hosting these pods since early 2025. Both are always fun and sometimes useful. Well, that's the plan. And to date, I've not yet had an immediate colleague on the pod. So let me introduce David Spencer. Yes, David and I work together. Don't tell him I said so, but he's part of the reason that I enjoy my role so much at WPP. No matter the weird and the wonderful shape of the client's data or tech problem, no matter if it's a problem that ad agencies and media agencies don't normally solve, he'll find a way to bring in startups, new tech, or new people to work with his formidable team to rebuild, build up, or create a springboard for success for the client. So in this conversation, we talk about Formula One, tech and AI, China versus USA, and mishaps in triathlons. Let me know if you find this fun and or useful. David, hello.
Hey, James. Thank you for the invite.
Good. So I'm going to launch straight in, if I may. I'm going to start off with the signal and the noise. So what's been something that you've seen recently that's caught your eye? And tell us all about it.
So recently, I was quite blown away what's happening with web design in general. I haven't seen such a great combination of 3D objects and depth maps in use. But go have a look at the Lando.Norris.com website. It recently launched, and it's just such a great showcase of web capability, depth maps, rendering, and there's a lot of Easter eggs as well. If you want to really geek out on the tech behind it, it's a great place to go to see what's available today.
All right, so tell me two things. First up, Lando Norris. Are you a big F1 fan?
Absolutely. I love F1, so that's definitely high on my list.
All right, and the second thing is, tell me one of the Easter eggs, one of the random, weird, cool things that you can find if you know which 4 keys to hit, or how you find the Easter egg.
Oh, okay. So if you go to the site, and if you go to the navigation, you go to on track, you'll see the helmet would render, and it would render in 3D. But if you type disco, the helmet would change into a disco helmet.
Okay, how did you find that? Did you just put in 1,000 different words, or did you read it and see what the Easter eggs were?
No, I must confess that I did see it out there, so I just had to try it.
Let's try.
I didn't go through every combination possible.
Every permutation of every expression you could think of. All right, that's very cool. I'm going to check that one out. And I love the fact that you go straight for the creative tech rather than the media tech that we might work in day to day. Talking of which, the day to day. So let's talk about your process and where you find signals. How do you connect the dots in your role going forwards every day?
So for me, it's really providing solutions and making things happen within the business. And with that, it's really connecting clients' needs and what we want to do as a business, and making sure those things get executed in a thoughtful manner. But with that, there's so many things to consider, right? So every day, I think things that we are working on day in, day out would be, how do we push the boundaries of what we can do in media, and how we bring value for our clients, and how we deliver that at scale in a really great way.
Give me an example, something that the team has started working on recently where it's delivering value at scale.
So with some of our clients, most of our clients, security, and when we look at security and governance around media accounts, social accounts, those things are not well governed in business. So we are working with clients to enable automation of those capabilities, and to bring that under IT compliance within those enterprises. That obviously reduces risk on the client side, but also frees up a lot of time from manually managing these processes.
That reminds me, we've got to get in touch with Gil Collinson in New York. She's got a couple of clients for us to speak to. I won't edit that bit out, but I probably should. So, all right, that's one piece. What about some of the things where where the team is delivering real value above and beyond media through finding tech solutions for finance teams and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we've done some interesting work in the agentic space where we can help with summarization of those capabilities. We've also recently supported teams around creative AI, and there we would look at how we could leverage solutions at scale to reduce the production cost of creative. Within that, we would look at deploying something that can work for our teams, that can be scaled to deliver value for them. Also looking at things where we can help with brand safety, scoring of that, all leveraging agentic AI in the background.
So when you're talking about agentic AI, I was chatting to somebody last week on this podcast, and he was talking about the approach of having lots of small approaches to agents, where you have lots of agents together versus having just one large sort of approach, one bulldozer approach to the LLM. How are you getting different agents to talk together?
Yeah, and I mean that's if you think about it, it's similar with humans, right? So you alone are not as great as a team, and working in the complement of a team is really where those unlocks your intellectual potential as a team to execute. So agentically, there's obviously newer things that came out, agent to agent protocol, MCP, all of those foundational building blocks are there now to enable you not just to leverage one agent, but to to separate those concerns across many agents. And then within that, the power that you have is far greater than the sum. And with that, I believe that's an excellent way to approach things, and from scaling, also reducing risk in your deployment, your architecture, that you're doing separation of concerns, breaking it out into different agents, as you would do in any team.
Okay, teamwork with humans and agents hand in hand, so to speak. Which of the LLMs is going to win the race right now? Where are things going with Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, all of the different big names that we see bandied about? Is Perplexity going to win the race? Which LLM is going to be the one on top at the end, or is it not going to be one winner?
I think it's an interesting question. So obviously, if you look at the race, everybody's driving towards AGI, so artificial general intelligence. And the question is really more around who's going to achieve that first. So if you look at, for instance, OpenAI, they were open with their first models until they realized that, hey, somebody can use these models to really do harm if you are not careful. So that was the main reason. Should we believe them or not? Who knows? But I believe at the moment, the way I would see things, it's more of an AI race that's happening, and it's between at the moment mainly driven between the US and China. So if you look at the underpinning of everything, it all comes back to the chips, the actual cloud enablement, and NVIDIA is a big enabler of that. And you need to get your AI to run on some hardware somewhere, and it needs to be owned by some country. And I think the race is really between America and China at this point in time. So if you look at DeepSeek, and if you look at the impact of DeepSeek, so when DeepSeek was launched, there was a decline, against the Nvidia shares, and it all comes back to this analogy around the beehive and the queen. So you have worker bees that are servicing the queen and everything that supports it. So the race is really there, and to own that full end-to-end stack, including the worker bees, and that all comes back to one sovereign. I think where there's more gaps currently would be around, how do we scale uh, how do we scale contributions of these companies back, as they potentially change the way people work going forward? How do we effectively ensure that this people can be looked after, in a way? So governance on taxing, generation of data. I believe that there needs to be a mechanism where these companies can pay their dues by the people that are leveraging those systems to ensure there's a sustainable abundance moving forward and a good framework. There's often a thing around, there's often a thing around how companies and businesses, as they drive towards AGI, and they want to get there first, would they do the right thing, and would there be the right governance and frameworks? And I believe that the time is right now for governments to be geared towards changing the taxation model on businesses to ensure there's a sustainable abundance future moving forward.
I love that. Sustainable abundance, the worker bees and the queen, and taxation, and the onus is on the government. Wow, that wasn't the direction I was expecting that facile question that I threw at you to go. Thank you for that answer. I'm going to change the subject and move to the third part, which is the high five. So a quick round of 5 questions to finish up. So tell me, who's your hero?
I often admire people that can make an impact on society, humanity as a whole. So if you look at people that kind of demonstrate those traits, Steve Jobs comes to mind, maybe Elon Musk, but the biggest trait I admire from them would be their ability to reduce signal to noise. And within that, if you look at, they say Steve Jobs, had the ability to reduce that and focus on signal 80% of the time. Elon Musk, they say he has ability to have 100% signal. So meaning everything else that's noise gets cut, and the focus is really razor sharp when it comes to that. So I think that's really something I admire. And as we all know in this world today, there are many competing things for your attention during the day. So how do you really carve that out, and how do you make sure you focus and zone on the right things?
Awesome. So have you read Nate Silver's The Signal and Noise? The Signal and the Noise?
I haven't, no.
14 years ago, he was well, more than that. He wrote the book called The Signal and the Noise. I'll bring it into the office tomorrow.
Amazing.
So, all right. So next question on the quick fire round. What's your best decision to date?
My best decision, the best and probably hardest decision was to leave South Africa and move to the UK. I think, it's you often think, what would your life be if you haven't made that choice? But I think for me it was really, to the core driver was relevancy and in the market where things are happening.
So what's your funniest moment?
If I have to think back in the day, my early 20s, we did a lot of these adventure races. So it's like a triathlon race. And at this time, there was this energy company called Game in South Africa, and they sponsored this triathlon. So the night before, at my friend's house, I had a bit of an upset stomach, and he handed me this powder that said David's stomach powder. So I took that with a glass of water, and then the next day we set off for the race. So as we were running on the field on a single track, I had to go, and there was a bunch of people behind me. I just could not shake them for any reason, and luckily I made it to a safe spot. But that
Okay. Wasn't expecting you to go that way. On the final question is the bright spot. I'm going to ask you to recommend one more person for me to speak to, but of course they have to have come to a dinner. So tell me someone who's you find fascinating, who's in your Rolodex, and you think why they'd be a great guest, and what signal or unique angle you think you see in them that other people don't.
Well, I believe today it was announced that Kate Donaghy will be taking over giffgaff as CEO, and I have it on good authority that she might be over in December. So I think she'd be a really great guest to interview.
Fantastic. Well, we'll have to get her out for a dinner because you can't come on the pod till you've been out for a dinner. I wonder if you.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about the dinner.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, David.
Thanks, James.
In the twilight, we gather around the table, stories to share, ideas unstable with signals bright. Through data we roam, creating sparks.